Hello, welcome along to A Little Bit Extra. My name is Sharyn, and this is your escape from the shit show that is planet Earth. Except today I'm at Australia Zoo and not able to talk to you about one of the greatest pop culture moments in history, the wedding of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. But I won't leave you stranded because I have got Steph, who is from the More FM Night Show and the Mums Talking podcast. She's going to give you all of the goss. So enjoy, and I'll enjoy school holidays.
Thank you for having me. I have done a lot of research. I've taken this job extremely seriously because I feel like Taylor Swift, if she was given the task of presenting to an audience about someone else's wedding, she would take it very seriously. So I've channeled my inner Taylor and I've gone full personality type A on this shit. And I have about 10 pieces of paper in front of me packed full of detail about her big day. Travis Kelce's big day too. He was there. But it's mainly Taylor Swift's day, isn't it? So, let's get started. Now, you're just going to have to deal with the paper because I know this is getting filmed. Hello, if you're watching me. But there's just too much detail that I cannot memorize every single thing. Sharyn, if you've noticed, has the most amazing memory of anyone I've ever met before. Sharyn and I have worked together for many years now. And I still get blown away by her ability to remember everything without reading anything. It's actually an incredible skill. I don't have that skill, so I'm going to rely on my paper. And the first thing that we have to talk about is why Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, because I have to remember that he was there too, why they chose Madison Square Garden as the wedding venue. We know that New York's special to her, but why Madison Square Garden? She's played concerts there, but it was such a perfect location. When these rumors came out, I was like, oh, that makes sense because there's no paparazzi, there's no drones, there's no helicopters. We've all seen the footage and stuff of celebrity weddings before when helicopters can you imagine the noise as well if you're at the wedding, just like choppers overhead trying to get the first paparazzi photos? So none of that. And safety. There was so much security at Madison Square Garden. So no paparazzi, no secret photos, the highest security. It makes total sense. Plus, if you're Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, you kind of have no budget. So you can transform this indoor venue into whatever you want, which is what they did, which we're going to get to in a second because it just sounds like the most amazing enchanted forest of all time. Now, they did have to shut some streets down for the wedding in New York, which did upset some New York businesses, which I think fair enough, because if people can't travel down the roads they normally travel in, then maybe your business would suffer. So a little bit of bad PR here. Also some bad PR when it came out that the New York Police Department had to front up the bill for closing down several streets in New York City for the wedding, which the New York taxpayer had to pay the bill. So some people are not like overly impressed with that, especially because she's got so much money. So you would have noticed at the day before the wedding, some great kind of counter PR moves. Good on you, Tree Payne, publicist extraordinaire, on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's behalf, as they donated so much money, $26 million to a variety of different charities. Feeding America, the ASPCA, and Dolly Parton's charity as well, Imagination Library. So they were like, okay, we're putting a few people off here, and so let's just donate some money. Now, I've got a theory here. Why $26 million? Seems like a lot. It's a lot of money, but seems like a kind of random number. 26, like, wouldn't you go 30? Would you go 20? Like, why 26? I think they've matched it. I think they've spent $26 million, which sounds insane, on their wedding. And I think they're like, well, this is what we spent. Let's give back. So that's why I think they spent $26 million on charity, because they've matched it. My theory. Now, let's talk about the wedding itself. What did it look like inside? Now, a few of the guests have talked about this beautiful, enchanted forest that they had set up with towering trees and emerald drapery and soaring archways. George Stephanopoulos, who was a guest there, he described it as it was this garden inside the garden, Madison Square Garden. So they just brought it to life, which just sounds like so Taylor Swift, doesn't it? There was a stage-like aisle which again is very Taylor Swift. Like when you think of Taylor Swift wedding, she's not just walking down any aisle, it's going to be raised. The whole room's there's 1,000 guests. Everyone's going to be able to see the bride walking down. So it was a raised aisle to a string kind of orchestra arrangement, and she was walking down to her own song. Now this is where, love you, Taylor. I love you, but I wonder how common it is for a musician to walk down their own wedding aisle to their own song. It was Love Story, like a string quartet, Bridgerton inspired classical version of Love Story. I'm not sure how, I don't know how I do know how I feel about it, and I don't feel good about it. Pick a different song, and I know like there must be so many songs that mean a lot for them as a couple, and that's like the really cool thing about weddings is I like to think you pick a song that means something like beautiful about your love or your life together or blah blah. But the fact she chose her own song, to me I'm like, if this is true, of course, because we don't actually know, but rumor has it Love Story, the violin classical version, was the song. So I don't know. I just don't know about that choice, but it's on my wedding. Now, I have also seen somewhere that potentially the exact rendition of Love Story that she walked down to might be released on Spotify. And in true Taylor Swift style, maybe she loves earning a buck or two, and she likes looking at ways to make money. So that could be something that we look out for. That would make total sense if we hear that appear on Spotify. And I do need to talk about this hero who was at the wedding. He was a guest. His name is Aron. He is the AMC CEO. I don't know what AMC was, but apparently it's the largest movie theatre chain in America. And the CEO, his name's Aron, he was there, and he described the wedding in so much detail and then quickly removed it from social media. Now, okay, I've got a theory on this as well. Lots of theories this podcast. I've got a theory, but let's go through the details that he spilled about the big day. So he said this: having been in Taylor Swift's orbit since AMC first took her Eras Tour movie to theatres globally a couple years ago, and with the headquarters ironically located in Kansas City, home to the Chiefs, I saw early on that true romance was at hand. And he described their love as being a new era in that romantic story. Okay, remember that bit. He also said that he described the wedding venue being completely transformed, everything, floors, walls, ceilings, draped in peach and white. Real flowers were used. He thinks artificial trees, they weren't real trees, they were artificial trees. And there were 15 rows of maybe 75 chairs or more. They were one of 1,000 attendees, but it felt intimate and small at the same time. Everything was close. He said there were a few violins and cellos, which makes sense with the Love Story violin that backs that story up with the classical version. Travis was in a white tux, which we're going to talk to more on that later. White tux. And he talked about the vows. He said they were long, entertaining, personal, charming, emotional, a word that I don't know, irreverent. Americans have a better vocab than us in New Zealand, I reckon. I've noticed this. Have you noticed this? Like, Americans speak with... Now I can't speak. With such a bigger vocab than us. Irreverent. And endearing explorations by how they met, why they want to be with each other for all eternity, the promises they made in joining their much beloved two whole families as one and committing to their new mutual life together. Again, this was this guy like spilling all the beans, which is just fantastic. My theory on why this particular person, Aron, talked about this. He's the movie guy. He made the Eras movie. There is going to be a movie. There's going to be a wedding documentary movie. And I know this is the rumor, which we're also going to talk to soon about soon. But this has got to be why Tree Payne, publicist extraordinaire, allowed Adam Aron, to break his NDA, because he's not allowed to talk about this. They all had to sign NDAs. He broke his NDA. He released so much detail, quickly removed from the internet. Tree Payne probably was like, yeah, go do that. And then people will be like, well, we'll just drop a seed. We'll just drop a few seeds, And then people will think maybe that there is some kind of alignment between the movie guy and Taylor Swift. And then they'll kind of get talking about maybe there's going to be a movie. That's why I think he's done this. And T-Pain probably like wrote the statement for him, to be honest. What else do we know about the wedding? On arrival in the foyer of Madison Square Garden, there were huge photos of Taylor and Travis from childhood through to their teenage years. And in one of these photos, a very clever social media user has, because a few photos of this has leaked online, of kind of the blown up photos in the foyer of the couple from their childhood and to present day as well. And one very smart person managed to find a photo of Travis and Taylor. It's very, very blurry, but you can absolutely make out that they're holding a puppy. They're holding like a white dog with pointy ears, and it's very fluffy. Has Taylor Swift become a dog person? There's been no mentions of her cats. Were the cats at the wedding? It seems like they weren't, which is weird because if you've seen her documentary before, she travels everywhere with her cats. Has she changed? Is she a dog person now? I feel like her and Travis Kelce have adopted a puppy together, and there was footage of her security guard months ago out walking a dog, which matches the description to what was on the wall at the venue. She's a dog person. She's got a puppy. God, I can't wait. I can't wait to find out more about the puppy. What else do we know about the wedding? There was a cocktail menu. See, I told you I've done my homework. This is ridiculous how much I know about this. There was a cocktail menu that leaked. 3 drinks, each with a beautiful name. The English Teacher is the name of the first cocktail. That was gin, elderflower, lavender, and lemon. The Gym Teacher, tequila, bitters, orange bitters, and agave, and TNT tequila, or I guess tea and tequila, which was tequila, hibiscus-infused chili, agave, pineapple, and lime. So there's a fun game this weekend. Make the Taylor Swift cocktails. Invite me because they all sound amazing. There were napkins at the wedding with the TNT emblem that you would have seen all over social media as well. They were given out at the wedding. Someone has already put theirs on eBay, the official handkerchief, where it says, "So it's going to be forever," which apparently is, it's from Style, right? And it's Travis Kelce's favourite Taylor Swift song. Oh, so cute. Bleh, 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 so cute. There was a raffle. Again, this is crazy. A raffle at a wedding like this. The most bougie prizes you can imagine. Designer handbags in this raffle. A golf bag, a Cartier watches, and a car. A 1970, I will not be able to name it because I don't know if I'm saying this right. Chevrolet. Oh, nailed it. Chevrolet Chevelle, which is the same make and model that you'll remember the photos of back in 2023 when they were kind of dating for the first time. It was one of the first outings we saw them together, if not the first time. And it was in New York, and it was after a Chiefs game, and they were driving off into the sunset together. And Taylor Swift was just looking like she was happy again and having fun after being like trapped in a cage with Joe Boring Allwyn for 6 years. And we're like, oh my God, our girl is in love and she's free and she's having fun and she's being young and youthful, and yeah, you're rich, but like go and use your money and have fun. And so they got like the sports car, like convertible car, and they just drove off together in it. And so they gave away the exact same model at their wedding as that car. Isn't that like, tell me you're rich without telling me you're rich? Like, isn't that crazy? In order to get a ticket into this bougie raffle, guests participated in games. I don't know what skee ball is. So, but that apparently it's a game. Miniature golf was there, and a football ring toss. All games. And if you participate, I guess a bit like a New Zealand wedding, we've got Jenga, right? We've got Jenga. We've probably got a bit of petanque going on at a wedding, a bit like that, but like the bougie style. And that will give you a raffle ticket to hopefully win you one of these cool prizes. Oh my, isn't it just... You can see how they spent probably, my theory, $26 million on this thing. Right, we get to the date, the 3rd of July. Why the 3rd of July? It's the 4th of July weekend, which Swifties, we know that the 4th of July holiday, she always goes out real big for 4th of July holidays. We've seen it in the past and makes total sense. And they met in July 3 years prior. So July is a very important month for their relationship. How much did it cost? Industry experts who work in weddings and venue hires and flowers and decorations and catering and sound and lighting and all the rest of it have estimated it would be between $10 and $12 million. I've seen reports of $20 million. No one really knows, but I am standing by my theory that I reckon they matched how much they spent, and that was why they donated $26 million to charity. Right. God, okay, how many pages left? Honestly, there's just too much information about this wedding. What guests have said afterwards? We know there were about 1,000 guests that went to this wedding. And you would have seen it pop up on social media that the first inkling that they had said I do, that they had tied the knot, was outside of Madison Square Garden. There were humongous billboards, like digital signs that changed over at 7:30 on American time Friday night that said, just married. But it was just with a plus T, just married. Now, when I first saw this, and you're probably the same, I was like, oh, that's an ad. That's it. In America, they've got AT&T, right, which sponsors a lot of stuff. It's a phone network, right? And I was like, oh, ooh, they've sponsored their wedding? Have they sponsored their wedding announcement? What? I'm sure they didn't, because I feel like AT&T would have claimed it. It would have been on their social media, right? Maybe it's just by accident that it looked like an AT&T ad. Maybe it's not by accident. I think we'll just have to wait and find out what happens. Maybe the documentary will be sponsored by AT&T. Maybe it's an Easter egg for that. Who knows? But I felt a bit icky when I saw that come out. I was like, oh, like, I don't know. They could have been a bit smarter with how it looked, I think. If it's not an ad, if it is an ad, yeah, yuck. And then we heard from Tree Payne, publicist extraordinaire, with a statement. It read, the bride and groom's wedding ceremony looks have been created by, now I can't say this designer's name without butchering it, I apologize, Christian Dior Haute Couture, which I think means custom made, right? They are designed by Jonathan Anderson, creative director of Dior Women's, Men's and Haute Couture. God, okay, I need to learn how to say that. Collections in close collaboration with the bride and groom. So they help design it. Cute. They also said this is the designer's, Tree Payne also said this is the designer's first couture wedding dress for a world-renowned celebrity. So the first time this designer has made a bespoke, a one-of-a-kind frock for a celebrity. And they both wore white. Now, obviously, Taylor wore white. Maybe not obviously. She's a bit quirky and she's the world's biggest superstar. So I wouldn't be shocked if she wore a dress with flowers all over it, right? That wouldn't shock us. However, she wore white. Great. Travis Kelce wore a white tux. I hate white tuxes. I don't think they should exist. They shouldn't exist. I think there should be a law against when you get married, and it should be against the law to get married in a white tux. I just don't think it looks good on anybody. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but that is my opinion. I wonder if Sharyn would agree with me. I reckon she would. I reckon she'd back me up on that. I think there's nothing more classic, especially if it's like a black tie event. Wear a black tux. Wear all black. That would be classy. Or just like a black with a little white shirt poking out. I don't know. Like all white is just it just seems tacky to me. It just seems tacky to me. Adam Sandler married them. You would have heard about this. And I'm like, why Adam Sandler? And I started thinking about it more. And it does make total sense. I thought Taylor Swift would want it to be a little bit more serious, a little bit more. She's so romantic. We've heard it through all of her lyrics forever. She is a romantic. I thought she'd take her ceremony, her vows, and all the rest of it a little bit more seriously. However, they are a playful couple, aren't they? Travis Kelce, he's like a big puppy. He just seems like so much fun. Maybe this was the one thing Travis Kelce got to pick. Maybe he was adamant. He was like, no, babe, Taylor, we got to get Adam up there. He's going to be great. And I don't know, did her arm need twisting in order, or was it an easy yes? I'd love to know the answer to that. And the documentary will probably tell us. But Travis Kelce and Adam Sandler worked together in Happy Gilmore 2. Adam Sandler has talked a lot in the past about how him and his family are big Swifties. He's got daughters who are just in love, besotted with her. So it all makes a lot of sense. Her song Wish List as well was inspired by the premise of Happy Gilmore 2, which is kind of like, if you haven't seen the movie, it's about how it's important to think of your happy place in order to get through hard things, which is her happy place. She describes it in Wish List. So there's synergy here. It's all connected. It's all happening. So we're going to hear now from the Kansas City Chiefs head coach, Andy Reid is his name. Now, this came out overnight, this clip, recording this on a Tuesday, and he was in like doing some kind of sports press conference because he's a sports guy. He's the head coach of Travis Kelce's team. But obviously he was asked about the wedding. He was there. He was one of the 1,000 guests, and he talked about Adam Sandler and what he was like as the celebrant.
You know, Adam Sandler did the ceremony there, so he mentioned, kiss her every chance you have. So I think that's in its own simple way, that's a pretty good message. You kiss her before bed, kiss her before you go to work, all those things. It's hard to argue when you're kissing somebody.
I love that. That is very romantic. Maybe I got Adam Sandler all wrong. Maybe he was like the perfect mix of comedy and sincerity and romance, because that's some great advice. And I can totally imagine him up there giving him that advice. He also did a song. He gave some beautiful marriage advice. Kiss your partner, even if you're angry, but also a song. Maybe he did it in song, which is very Adam Sandler. So I kind of hated the idea at first, but I've come around to it, and I reckon that coach broke his NDA. There's another one in trouble. Roll. Now, who was at the wedding? Okay, this part of the podcast, we might, Nick, just a little on-air brainstorm right now. We might need to speed my voice up like a chipmunk so people don't get bored out of their brains listening to all of these celebrity names. It's so impressive who was there, though. We've seen red carpets of Met Galas and the Oscars and the Grammys and all the rest of it. This was even more star-studded. This was incredible, the list of names. Now, it is true that all the people I'm about to read out and the rest of the names to get to 1,000 guests had to sign non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, contracts that say probably that they'll never share images of it, that they'll never really talk about it in public, yada yada. So they all had to sign NDAs. It's true that the invites had their name, the name of the guest or the invite was for, kind of printed on in a way that if they ever showed footage of the invite, that they'll get in trouble because their name is the one that's on the invite. So that's why no one shared the invite. And at the rehearsal dinner, the guests got a velvet box. You might have seen photos of this, of people walking out of the venue with like little black boxes with the T&T, with the hearts, with the emblem on it. Apparently inside of those boxes were custom diamond encrusted champagne flutes. That was the guest. I was about to say prize. Present? Lena Dunham was there. She gave a speech that was great. Lots of laughs, apparently. Now, do we want to hear the list? Okay. Roll the chipmunk voice. Joel Little, Selena Gomez, Jack Antonoff, Esty Haim, Danielle Haim, Alana Haim, all the Haim sisters, Dakota Johnson, Gigi Hadid, Bradley Cooper, Camila Cabello, Benson Boone, Carly Kloss. Ooh, stop. Back to normal voice. Carly Kloss was there. Oh my gosh. They fell out a couple of years ago when she married someone who probably didn't politically align with what Taylor Swift politically aligned with, and then they kind of went their separate ways, and she was at the wedding. There are rumors that I saw that maybe she just got dressed up and hopped in a car towards the wedding venue and didn't actually go to the wedding and just made it seem like she was going to the wedding. Well, I don't believe those rumors. That's ridiculous. Carly Kloss was there with her very right-wing husband. Abigail Anderson, her bestie, was there. Jennifer Lopez, Ed Sheeran, Jimmy Fallon, Hugh Grant, Jason Sudeikis, Ethan Hawke, Zoe Kravitz. Pause. No Harry. Zoe Kravitz, Harry Styles engaged. Harry Styles, Taylor Swift's ex-boyfriend. Harry Styles is on tour. He did like a 10-show Wembley Stadium situation, so he's at work. Which probably worked out perfectly. No awkwardness. Let's continue. Glennon Doyle, Miranda Lambert, Graham Norton, Machine Gun Kelly, Patrick Mahomes, Brittany Mahomes, Jessica Alba, Seth Meyers, Tate McRae, Cindy Crawford, Reese Witherspoon. The list goes on. Gracie Abrams, Emma Stone, Beck, Brad Pitt, Suki Waterhouse, Conan O'Brien, Sacha Baron Cohen, Stephen Colbert, Fergie, Dina Von Teese, Steven Spielberg. Pause. Is he the director? He could be directing the movie. We start again. Tom Brady, Max Martin, Kelsey Ballerini, Maren Morris, Stevie Nicks. Apparently Stevie Nicks performed. Paul McCartney, apparently he performed. Tim McGraw, apparently he performed. So those three people apparently took the stage. Taylor Swift apparently took the stage as well. Kesha, Sabrina Carpenter, Avril Lavigne, Sierra and the Chainsmokers all did karaoke at the reception. Oh, and that's probably not even all of them. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being there and seeing all these people at a wedding having fun? Because I feel like if you see these people at an award show, it's not the same because everyone's on their best behaviour, winning awards and being all serious about the work. but this is a wedding. Everyone's getting smashed and who knows what else. All those people in one wedding. Oh, to be a fly on the wall. Now let's hear from Donna Kelce. After the wedding, there was a 4th of July celebration that Travis Kelce's mum was at. And this is what she said about the wedding.
I really can't say a heck of a lot except it was magical, man, magical.
Now, if you've seen The Traitors USA, it's a celebrity version of The Traitors. Donna Kelce was on it. You'll know that she gets starstruck. She gets starstruck by seeing celebrity. She couldn't believe the cast that she was with on that show. Can you imagine Donna Kelce at this wedding with the names I just read out? She'd be on the floor. She wouldn't believe it that all these people are there. I would have loved to see Donna Kelce freak out and fangirl over everybody. Jennifer Lopez, Ethan Hawke, all these people that she's probably just like known forever and just like, Donna, we love Donna. There was an auntie, Taylor Swift's auntie, Robin. The next day, she was photographed leaving a building, leaving somewhere, I think, and she said this.
They cried and they laughed and they danced and they hugged and they kissed.
So that's nice to hear from a family member. Just remembering that they are just human beings getting married, and it is all about love, and it's about the money, but it's about love. But it's also about the money and the extravagance. Now, who wasn't there? Now, this upsets Sharyn a bit, actually. I was texting her about it. Man, I had like 10 different text convos about this wedding on the weekend with Shaz, one-on-one, and a group, like many other groups. She is so gutted that she's missing this, let me tell you. But who was not there? Blake Lively. Blake Lively wasn't there. Ryan Reynolds wasn't there. The rumours must be true. They've had a falling out. Is it to do with the Justin Baldoni court battle that Blake Lively went through, and text messages between Blake and Taylor leaked? Taylor probably not happy about the leak, if you can call it that. And she was probably like, you know what, true friends don't leak information or texts with each other to the public. So maybe that was the cause of the drift. They weren't at the wedding. However, they were in New York State. They were seen 300 kilometers away the day before. So they were nearby. They didn't go to the wedding. Lorde wasn't there. No Prince William or Kate Middleton. They would have got an invite. They just wouldn't have been there. Which also points to the fact that it's probably filmed for Disney. Like, it's probably the documentary, the film will come out, and everyone there, it'll be a part of the NDA. You sign your rights away. Yes, I'm fine with being on a Disney documentary. Prince William and Kate Middleton probably can't do that with their roles, so they probably declined because they would have got invited. Prince William was just on Travis Kelce's podcast. They've met. They went backstage at the Eras Tour meeting Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift invited everyone she's ever met before. I feel like they would have got the invites. They would have politely declined. And like we just discussed, no Harry Styles. Very convenient to time your Wembley Stadium shows around the Taylor Swift wedding. However, the night of the wedding at his London show, he performed Two Ghosts, Swifties. We know what that means. That's the song that he wrote when Taylor Swift and Harry Styles broke up. So it was a little tip of the hat to the big day, I think, obviously. Will we ever see it? Like I've been rattling on for the last half an hour, is yes, I think we'll see it. In fact, an unnamed source by the Daily Mail, take that with a grain of salt. Apparently the entire wedding was professionally recorded, and Taylor Swift plans to release it later this year after editing it herself. This makes total sense to me. She is a smart cookie. She'll love the idea of making some money from this. And I know you're probably thinking, well, she has enough money. Why? Why did she have to do this? It's the future. It's her family. It's her future kids. She wants to make sure her family will be looked after. It makes sense. If you're in a position to make, how much money do you think? $20 million or whatever? If you're in a position to do that just by, putting some footage out there in the world to help your future family, I think you do it. So I think we'll absolutely see it later in the year. And that is my wrap up on the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce wedding. And you know what? I think my phone's been going during this podcast episode of Sharyn still messaging me information. Gosh, she's onto it, that girl. She'll be back soon. Have a lovely rest of your holiday, Shaz. We love you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Steph. She's such a legend. Don't forget you can go and listen to her podcast, Mum's Talking. It's in the show notes, or check her out on More FM Nights. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. I'll be back on Thursday. And if you want to get behind the scenes of Love Island, I'm talking to somebody that has done 1,000 hours of research on Love Island and even went to the villa. You can hear it on Thursday. Wish me luck.